Hello, I'm Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur, representing Ohio's 9th Congressional District. As co-chair of the Bipartisan Congressional Ukraine Caucus, and on behalf of thousands of my Ukrainian American constituents, I wish to send warmest greetings and best wishes for a successful conference. While I cannot be with you in person, I thank you all for attending this Atlantic Council conference entitled U.S.-Ukraine Relations Ways Forward. I am so grateful for all your work to strengthen Ukraine's democratic trajectory. And while our Congressional Ukraine Caucus represents both parties and diverse interests, we are all united by a commitment to ensure a free, secure, and prosperous Ukraine among the community of democracies. It is no secret that Ukraine dominates the news cycle and the domestic debate here in the United States. Yet, despite this ongoing debate, Russia continues to wage an illegal war in Ukraine, which has led to the death of close to 14,000 people and the displacement of millions more. As you well know, Ukraine is the scrimmage line for liberty on the European continent. She is facing against Russian aggression that seeks to undermine and sow discord in the greatest collective security arrangement of all time, NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Thanks to NATO and other multilateral institutions such as the European Union, Europe has achieved unprecedented levels of peace and prosperity. Americans too have benefited from peace in Europe, including enhanced economic, cultural, and political exchanges. Most critically, the United States has not been forced to send her sons and daughters to fight tyranny in Europe. Ukraine thus protects NATO's eastern flank against Russian incursions. Meanwhile, in the face of increasing Russian aggression, Ukraine continues to make strides in its democratic struggle to shake off the rapacious grip of its oligarch class. This past year, President Zelensky and the Servant of the People Party won the presidential and parliamentary elections with a clear mandate for democratic reform. The Ukrainian people made their voice known. They want to live among the community of democracies free from Russian aggression. While democracy seems to be backsliding in Europe, thankfully the Ukrainian people's struggles serve as a beacon of hope for other freedom-loving people in neighboring countries, surely Russia. Since Ukraine's independence, Congress and our bipartisan Congressional Ukrainian Caucus has led the charge in supporting Ukraine's democratic trajectory. Just this December, the caucus hosted a bipartisan bicameral conference on U.S. strategic interests in Ukraine, where experts from 10 think tanks joined in expressing support for Ukraine. Just this month, in the midst of impeachment proceedings, the caucus introduced House Resolution 802, which reaffirms the United States' vital interest in liberty in Europe and resolute support for Ukraine. Most importantly, this bill calls for increased U.S. assistance to Ukraine in its time of need. Additionally, the Open World Leadership Center and Office for Congressional Diplomacy has committed to bringing over to our country every new member of the Rada to the United States to increase legislative exchange. Finally, we must continue to find ways to increase business opportunities for Ukrainian rural women who are feeding their neighbors, countrymen, during a time of significant duress. We must also provide robust support for Ukraine's veterans who are defending their nation against Russian aggression yet lack adequate care. In conclusion, I thank you all so much again for your commitment to liberty in Europe. Please know that the American people stand with you during this difficult time. I know that together with the Ukrainian people, we will be successful in ensuring a more democratic and prosperous Ukraine among Western nations.
I'm Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick, and I stand with Ukraine. As chair of the Ukraine Caucus here in Congress, and as a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and as someone who was stationed in Ukraine during my career as an FBI agent, I can tell you without any doubt that our close ties to Ukraine matter now more than ever. We have not forgotten Russia's illegal occupation of Ukraine's sovereign territory. Ukraine is at war, but you are not fighting it alone. The United States stands firmly behind you. Members of Congress from both parties here understand the challenge that Ukraine faces, and we will continue to provide the resources and support necessary. The United States, along with our allies and partners, are helping to rebuild, strengthen, and support Ukraine's military. America is working with Ukraine to revolutionize its economy and connect Ukraine's people with ideas all around the world. Ukraine has the right to chart its own course. Ukraine has the right to energy security, and Ukraine has the right to protect itself. The United States will always be your willing partner, your ally, and your friend. Ukraine, we have your back.
Hi, I'm Congressman Andy Harris. As the son of a Ukrainian immigrant who fled the Soviets during World War II, I'm proud to be a co-chair of the Congressional Ukraine Caucus and of the work the caucus is doing to support Ukraine and her aspirations for a better future. Ukraine stands on the front lines of democracy and represents the line of demarcation between the free world and the authoritarian ambitions of an expansionist Russia. As you fight, I want you to know that now, more than ever, the United States stands with you. Together, we will call for the return of occupied territories, continue to rebuild and enhance Ukraine's military, tackle corruption, strengthen the institutions necessary for a truly democratic society, reform the Ukrainian economy, and continue to fight for Ukraine's energy security. Together, we will stand with you to secure the blessings of liberty for all of Ukraine. I, alongside my colleagues in the Congressional Ukraine Caucus and the rest of Congress, know that what happens in Ukraine affects us all. We stand with Ukraine.